Hello friends, welcome to day 2 of our Yin Yoga Series for Wellbeing. If this is your first day participating in this series, I invite you to check out the comments section down below for more details. And when you're ready, afford yourself a moment to find a comfortable seated position. Following along from the theme of day 1's Healthy Hips yoga class, today is all about happy hips. We are continuing on with this integral region of the body that really affords us the capacity to carry out all of our daily tasks with ease and enjoyment. Again, we will be holding postures in this class for about 5 minutes. We won't be using any props in this class. And I really encourage you to be gentle with yourself, move with intention, move with love, and remember that the transitions between the postures are equally as important as the postures themselves, giving yourself space to land in the body. Recognizing that this is a safe environment and it's okay for you to let go of any mental or emotional attachments that might have your attention. Beginning to notice the breath, simply observing the natural rhythm of the inflow and outflow of air from the body. Noticing if there are any regions where you are feeling sensation or holding on to tension of sorts. And allowing yourself to hold space for these feelings, releasing any judgment. Okay friends, we are going to assume Garland's pose for our first posture today. Coming into a low squat. Feet are slightly wider than the hips, heels are in, toes are out on a diagonal. And you might like to rest here with your hands on the floor, your fingertips. Or you might like to join your palms together at heart center in Namaskar Mudra, using the triceps to press into the inner thighs, really helping to open up the hips, finding length through the vertebral column. If this posture proves a little challenging, you might like to sit on a block, a bolster. And from here, we'll begin to invite some movement into the neck, lowering the left ear to the left shoulder. Chin to left collarbone, chin to chest. Inhale, raise to center. Going on the other side. Mindfully lowering the right ear to the right shoulder. Chin to collarbone. Chin to chest. And back to center. Maybe resting here, or you might like to invite some fluidity, creating some half moon shapes, rolling the neck in one direction and the other. If it feels safe to do so, you might like to create some full moon circles. From here, extending the arms out wide on an angle like bird wings, gazing up, broadening across the heart space, maybe finding a bind as you interlace your fingers together behind one of the legs and behind your back. Really breathing into the hips here, softening the shoulders as we warm up the body. Inhale, re-extend the arms, join the palms together at heart center. One breath here. And gently extend the arms out in the opposite direction, gazing up. Maybe finding the bind. And noticing if the hips sway to one side. Seeing if you can guide your body weight to the midline. Find that equilibrium. Gently release, palms at heart center. Breathe. Gently lower your fingertips down onto the earth and guide your sits bones down as well. Coming into our first Yin Yoga posture, we will take square pose. If you practice Hatha Yoga, you might know this as fire log or double pigeon. Coming into a cross-legged position, the right shin is on the earth, parallel with the long edge of the mat, and the left shin is placed on top of the right. Both feet are flexed, hips are squared. You might choose to stay upright, really allowing yourself to soften into the hips. And if it feels okay, maybe hinging forwards, beginning to slowly walk the fingertips out in front. Maybe lowering down onto the forearms, moving with intention, knowing that it's okay to take your time. If you're on your forearms, it might feel nice to have your palms facing skywards, knowing that there's no need to press into the earth. You can really surrender here. And perhaps creating a pillow with your hands, lowering the forehead down onto the earth. You might feel a tremendous stretch around the outer hips, the glutes, the piriformis. So really be compassionate with yourself. Tune into the subtleties of your own experience. Try to be present with the breath. And if the sensations feel particularly overpowering, see if you can create space to be here with these sensations without labeling them. If the mind has begun to wander, compassionately guiding yourself to the breath, to the body, and using these last few breaths in this posture to really soften. If you are in a fold, mindfully placing your palms underneath the shoulders, using core strength and arm strength to support you into an upright seated position. Perhaps rolling the shoulders back. From here, uncrossing the legs. It might feel nice to fan the legs out from side to side, inviting any movement that feels nourishing for you. And from here, we will set up for square pose on the other side. This time the opposite shin is on top, the right shin. And doing your best to keep both sits bones glued to the earth. Finding your variation of the posture. Maybe that's upright, maybe it's in a fold. Knowing that there is no right or wrong, it's really about listening to your body, listening to your inner guidance system. Breathe. Mindfully guiding your awareness to this space, to the sensations of this posture. Taking 3 more loving breaths in square pose. Asking yourself, can I soften? And if the answer is no, what's holding me back? Slowly raising the head, the neck, using the arms and core strength to guide you upright. Well done. Perhaps taking a few breaths in this upright position before inviting any movement into the body. You might again like to fan the legs out. And from here we will set up for our second Yin Yoga posture, deer pose. Keeping both knees bent, the left leg is coming out in front, the left knee is in line with the left hip, keeping that foot flexed, the left shin is parallel to the long edge of the mat, and the right knee is also in line with the right hip, the right leg is coming out to the side, with the right heel and ankle in line with the knee. Toes are facing to the right, keeping that foot flexed as well. And you might like to stay upright or gently guide your palms behind your body, leaning the torso slightly backwards, playing around with the positioning, knowing that the sensations are going to be different for all of us. And perhaps you would like to hinge forwards, maybe folding forwards in front of the leg, or you might like to guide your palms over to the left, lowering the torso down on a diagonal. Allowing yourself to soften. Breathe. Taking 3 more loving breaths in deer posture. Seeing if you can soften a little more with every exhalation. Can you be present with the experience without labeling it, without judging it? Wherever you were in the posture, mindfully guiding yourself with the support of your arms, your abdominals, to an upright position, taking as much space and time as you like. And you again might like to fan the legs out, inviting a lovely release into the outer hips. And setting up for deer pose on the other side, creating those 2 90-degree angles with the legs. Mindfully flexing the feet so that we are protecting the knees. And finding your variation of the posture. Maybe that's upright, leaning the torso away from the body. Perhaps it's guiding the torso more towards that back leg. Or folding forward. If you're in the forward fold, knowing that there's the option to fold straight ahead, or guiding the body out on a diagonal, leaning over to the right. Really leaning into where you notice these subtle experiences and guiding your choice around that. Breathe. Find ease. Know that you are well. And let go. offering yourself 3 more loving breaths in deer posture. And when you feel ready, slowly guiding yourself upright. Reminding yourself that the transitions are also a part of the practice. Being present and taking any movement that feels nourishing for you. Our next Yin Yoga posture is going to be Shoelace pose. You might know this as cow face pose in Hatha Yoga. We are going to cross our right leg over the left, doing our best to keep the knees aligned, keep the hips squared, sits bones connected to the earth, maybe keeping your heels towards the glutes. Or if you notice that you have a little bit more mobility and flexibility in this posture, you might like to guide your heels in line with the knees, getting your shins parallel with the long edge of the mat. Perhaps staying upright, maybe hinging from the hips, folding forwards. Again, this is a stretch that really gets deep into the outer hips, so be compassionate. Once you've settled into the posture, released any fidgets, allow yourself to tune into the breath and surrender. Taking 3 more loving breaths in shoelace pose. If you're in a fold, placing the palms down on the earth underneath the shoulders and mindfully unrolling the spine, coming upright. It might feel nice to invite some movement into the neck and the cervical region of the spine here, creating any organic movement that feels right. Rolling the shoulders back, gently uncrossing the legs, and perhaps fanning out the legs again. And when you feel ready, it's setting up for shoelace pose on the other side. Knowing that there might be imbalances between both sides of the body, so if one side feels a little bit interesting, a little bit more sensitive, be compassionate and accepting of this experience. Knowing that it is right for you. Listen to the messages that your body is telling you. Maybe staying upright or coming into a fold. Finding your edge, breathing through it, and letting go. Mindfully guiding your awareness to this posture, to the breath, and offering yourself these last few breaths to surrender completely. Lovingly guiding yourself upright, maybe finding movement around the neck. Find what feels good. When you feel ready, gently uncrossing the legs, fanning the legs out. And from here we will set up for frog pose. Coming into a tabletop position, wrists are underneath shoulders, begin to guide your knees out wider than hip width distance apart, maybe staying with your feet joined together, or you might like to align your ankles with the knees so that the feet are facing away from the body, they're facing towards the edge of the mat. Maybe lowering down onto your forearms, doing your best to keep your pelvis and the hips aligned with the knees without overcompensating in the lower back. So there will be a slight arch in this posture, but we don't want to create too much compression. Maybe lowering down onto the hands, creating a pillow for your head, doing your best to lower the pubic bone, the pelvis towards the earth. And if this posture is too intense, you might like to rest your torso on a bolster, rest your forehead on a block. And if that still doesn't work, child's pose is a great option as well here. Allow the back of the neck to soften. Breathe. Taking a few more loving breaths in frog pose, being present with the sensations, remembering that there's no need to create a narrative around the experience. Simply allow yourself to be as the watcher. This can be an interesting posture to release from, so be gentle. If your feet were underneath your knees, you might like to guide your feet together, using the palms for support and beginning to join the legs together, coming into diamond pose. And when you're ready, we'll turn to face the short edge of the mat, coming down onto our sits bones, placing the soles of the feet on the earth, knees are hip width distance apart, placing the palms under the thighs. Slightly engaging the core muscles, we'll begin to roll the back down onto the mat, one vertebra at a time, neck and head coming down last. You might like to bring the heels underneath the knees, closer towards the glutes. Feeling your connection to the earth beneath you. From here, we will set up for a hatha style yoga posture, supine pigeon, creating a figure 4 as we cross the right leg over the left, placing the outer edge, the lateral edge of the right ankle, the right foot on the left thigh. Maybe interlacing your fingers behind the thigh, around the shin, as you guide the left knee towards the chest, while simultaneously pushing the right knee away from the body, keeping the right foot slightly flexed so that we're protecting the knee. Mindfully keeping the lower back down on the earth, softening the facial features, unclenching the jaw. Breathe. Mindfully returning your awareness to this posture, offering yourself 3 more loving, intentional breaths in supine pigeon. And from here, we will mindfully transition into a supine shoelace posture, also known as cow face pose. So keeping the knees as they are, the right knee is on top of the left knee. Doing your best to keep the knees aligned, we're going to gently grab a hold of the outer edges of the feet, guiding the knees towards the chest, whilst pulling the feet away from the midline. Remembering that this is a gentle posture, there's no need to exaggerate anything. And simply being present with your experience, noticing regions where there's sensation and seeing if it's possible to soften. Letting go. In your own time, mindfully releasing from shoelace pose, gently guiding both knees towards the chest, perhaps interlacing your fingers around the shins. And it might feel nice to slightly sway the torso, the pelvis from side to side, finding a gentle massage for the lower back. Maybe creating some circles with the knees, or any organic movement that feels good. From here, lowering the soles of the feet down onto the earth, and we'll set up for supine pigeon on the other side, this time crossing the left leg over the right, and maybe staying here is enough for you. Or you might like to guide the right knee to the chest, finding a bind that is conducive with where you are at today. Breathe. Affording yourself 3 more intentional breaths in supine pigeon. And when you're ready, gently guiding the left knee on top of the right, grabbing a hold of the outer edges of the feet, guiding the knees to the chest, as we come into supine shoelace or supine cow face pose, Gomukhasana. Being present with your experience, giving yourself permission to be as you are, loving yourself unconditionally. Offering yourself 3 more intentional breaths in supine shoelace. It's often in these last few breaths in a posture that we really allow ourselves to relax completely. And know that that's okay. It's part of the experience. And as you show up consistently and lovingly, the practice will become easier, more enjoyable. In your own time, mindfully unraveling the legs, drawing the knees to the chest, maybe swaying side to side. And when you're ready, we'll set up for our final Yin Yoga posture, supine butterfly or supine bound angle. Joining the soles of the feet together, knees are bent, allowing the knees to splay wide to the edges of the mat. You might like to extend the arms out the length of the body, palms facing skywards, or perhaps placing one palm on the belly, the other on the heart space. Really facilitating that mind, body, breath awareness. Giving yourself permission to soften. Perhaps inviting a soft smile onto the lips, helping you unclench the jaw. Breathe. offering yourself a few more loving breaths in butterfly, knowing that you can pause the video here and stay here for as long as you like. When you're ready, using inner thigh strength to join the legs together, drawing the knees to the chest one last time, and we'll take a supine stretch to release any tension that might be stagnating, interlacing your fingers around the right shin, extending the left leg, maybe staying here, or guiding your right knee over to the left, turning your gaze to the right, perhaps extending the right arm at shoulder height or cactus in the arm. Whatever feels good for you, and seeing if it's possible to keep both shoulders grounded to the earth so that we're protecting our back here. Using this opportunity to breathe into the outer hips or any region where you're feeling sensation. Mindfully releasing from the twist, guiding both knees to the chest, interlacing your fingers around the left shin as we extend the right leg out, grounding down through the heel of that right leg, keeping the leg engaged. And perhaps this is enough of a stretch for you, or maybe coming into the twist. One more breath. And gently release. Guide the knees to the chest one final time. And we'll set up for Savasana, final relaxation. Getting any props, blankets, bolsters, anything that feels nice for you, or relaxing on the floor completely. Performing a visual mental scan of the body, observing where you are feeling sensation, perhaps noticing regions that feel a little more relaxed, a little more supple. And in your own time, tuning into the breath, allowing yourself to detach from any narratives, simply being present. I invite you to stay in Savasana for as long as you like. Pause the video here. And if you're ready to round off your practice, inviting 2 more loving breaths into corpse pose, into this experience. And beginning to invite some small movements into the body, perhaps wiggling the fingers, the toes, rolling the neck from side to side, interlacing the arms overhead, stretching the body in either direction. And when you're ready, bending the knees, rolling over to the left, coming into a fetal position, offering yourself as much space and time in this posture as you like. And when you're ready, using your palms for support to help guide you into an upright seated position. It might be nice to keep the eyes closed here. Roll the shoulders back. And together, we'll close practice in a space of gratitude. Inhale, extend the arms skywards, join the palms together. Exhale, lowering the palms to the third eye center, recognizing and celebrating the light that dwells within you and within each of us. Mindfully lowering the palms to the heart center. Thank you all so much for joining this Yin Yoga class. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.